Before the show, we'd like to thank our sponsors. We'd like to thank Jones Beefmasters and Mr. Clark Jones. Always has a great sale in June. Thank you for your support. We would like to thank the Beefmaster Educational Endowment Fund, or BEEF. Thank you for what you do for the breed and Beefmaster banner. We would like to thank the Southeastern Beefmaster Breeders Association, or SEBA, as a lot of people know it. Be on the lookout for their sale August 26th. We'd like to thank Emmons Ranch Beefmasters with multiple sales a year and production sales. Be on the lookout for their stuff. We'd like to thank C&M Ranches of Kershaw, South Carolina. Great people, great genetics. Be on the lookout for cattle and different sales throughout the year. Thank you for your support. We'd like to thank Lissy's Beefmasters for all you do, and be on the lookout. They have 3 sales a year, so be on the lookout for their genetics. We'd like to thank MLS Tubs for their support. If you need any kind of supplements or tubs, be on the lookout for them and give them a shout. Again, thank you to all of our sponsors. We really appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you. Welcome to Beefmaster Banner. We're your hosts, Josh Morrison and Jared Strickland. How's it going, Jared?
It's going good. I'm super excited about this episode we're fixing to do.
Yeah, this is the most people we've had on here at one time. This should be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And who we're talking about tonight is Mr. Clark Jones, owner of Jones Beefmasters, Mr. Justin Williams, the ranch manager of Jones Beefmasters, and Mr. Bruce Robbins of Robbins Cattle Consulting. Everyone should know Bruce by now. How are y'all doing?
Doing great, sir.
Well, Clark, I know you've been on here. I think this may be your 3rd time on here. So I think everybody pretty much knows you as far as the podcast goes, but Bruce, Justin, if y'all would just tell a little bit about yourselves, kind of the history with y'all, you guys and cattle and that kind of thing. And whoever wants to go first, Bruce, if you want to go first, have at it.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to be here. Glad to join you all. I think it's really cool, first of all, but pretty simple and straightforward. I'm an Okie. I graduated Oklahoma State in 82, and first job was managing Tulsa stockyards. Quite an experience. Did it. Don't want to go back. Learned a lot. 83, I went to work for Fred Thompson Cattle Marketing, selling Beefmaster cattle. You know, that's where I got my feet on the ground. Worked for him for 8 years. BBU, Vice President of Field Services from 90 to 94. Basically, big title. All I did was take care of everything out of the office, classification, sales, all the things you do outside. Then in 94, I started my business that I'm doing now, you know, ranch consulting on breeding and marketing. And then those same people that I worked with pushed me into the sales management business. So that's where I am now. And that's what I've been doing. I love it.
Sounds like you might have got voluntold, one of those deals. Yeah. Well, we know, you know, we hear your voice all the time, and it'll be fun tonight to talk with you and maybe get a little different perspective. Justin, how about you? How about a little history of yourself?
I'm Justin Williams, of course. I've been working for Clark for 22 years now. I'm a graduate of UT Martin here in Tennessee. I grew up in farming. My family had a multifaceted operation from anywhere from hogs to row crop to cattle. And so I've had a lifelong experience in agriculture and did that. And I was on the collegiate judging team there with the University of Tennessee and judged all over the country doing that on livestock. And so got to meet a lot of neat people and learn a lot from a different avenue there. But like I said, I've been with Clark pretty much since I graduated pretty much. And so I've been involved in the breed for the last 20 something years.
Been Clark's right-hand man.
Some days I may be the left, but we'll be all right.
I always say, Josh, that you got my left and my right hand on the show tonight.
There we go.
These two guys are. Everybody kind of gives me credit for this, but none of it would have been possible without each and every one of them, because, you know, Bruce has been with me since he started in the business, and Justin spent his career with me. So I've been blessed to have both of them.
Yes, sir. And good people too. right before here we get started, Clark, I want to make sure we do thank you for supporting the show and being a sponsor. And it means a lot that you're willing to do that.
Well, this is exciting to me. You know, digital is what I've been working in my business for many years, and this is exciting for our breed. And we really appreciate you two young guys doing this. This is very, very exciting to me.
We really enjoy it. But tonight we're going to get into talking production sales. So when this episode releases, it will be, it'll be this Friday. So it'll be a week before your production sale, Clark. And no one's a stranger. Everyone knows it. Everyone, expects, that there's always going to be really good cattle and a really good time there. But I thought it would be a good time to talk production sales, especially for people that may be looking into doing production sales at some point, or that maybe just doesn't know what goes into them. And I felt like tonight with the three of you, we maybe could shed some light on that. What, in each of your opinions, what would be one of the top things that goes into preparing for a sale? And I know probably going to be different because we have different facets of production sales, but Clark, if you want to start, and then Justin and Bruce, if y'all want to put your opinion in there also.
Well, yeah, I'd be honored too. The biggest thing I have to worry about is having these two guys to help me, because they do so much of the heavy lifting in what we do. But Bruce and I started together, and I don't want to give our age away, about 30 years ago together, and I guess 30 years next year. And I've been able to be asked to do several of these things over the years about marketing and things, and that's what I've done my whole life. So, when I talk about planning is everything, and having an integral plan to what you want to do. We're 3 and 4 years out from where we're going to be. Bruce and I and Justin, we meet at least twice a year, not during the sale time, but in consulting times. And we look at our numbers, we look at what we got to do. Certainly, selecting cattle and all is a big part of it. But as far as planning for production sales, it's not, the people that have been successful, they work way in advance on it. They have their plan. We have our schedule. Justin works on a very, very tight schedule. Bruce and I laugh and say, video day is sale day, and certain little things that we laugh and talk about. But there's so many facets of a production sale, and I'll let my guys expand a little on that.
Well, I'll follow up with Clark because he was saying my favorite word, plan, right? My whole philosophy about sales is make a plan and work the plan. You don't do it the other way around. You don't just jump into this, I think I'll have a sale. Next year, when's a good date? It just doesn't work. You have to make a plan. Nothing in this cattle business happens in a hurry. We all know that. It takes a while for anything to get put together. So you make this plan. You make your selections early. You feed your cattle from an early part, long and slow, on a nice little plane of nutrition going up. You don't feed them a lot late. You don't run in here 90 days before a sale, which is historically the bad thing that happens on consignment sales, is they send out a form, want you to consign, and you go out that evening or the next week and you say, yeah, I'll do that one. Well, you got 60, 80 days, whatever, to get it ready. No, that's not the plan. You, as a breeder, work your own plan. You get with somebody, you do it yourself, you get with somebody, and you work out a plan, a marketing plan, and figure out how you're going to do it. Now, the great joy I've had is working with Clark and Justin. We make these plans. Justin implements the plan, right? He gets them fed, he gets them dehorned, he gets them branded, he gets them clipped, he gets them ready, right? That's the tough. You Clark talk about heavy lifting. There's your heavy lifting. We make plans. I come over, we select cattle. We try to hit open heifers 14 to 18 months of age. So you attract all the different buyers that want to breed them to calve at 2, buyers that want them to calve a little later. Bred heifers, ideally, you want them coming in there hitting in that 4 to 6 months bred. So that buyer is really thinking I'm getting 2 for 1, right? I mean, pairs, you're looking at pairs in that nice age from first calvers up to maybe 8, because 8 in our world, we still got 4 to 6 years on average left production life of that cow. And look at her calf. This may be the year that she has her bad calf. Don't put her in the sale. Put her in the sale when she has a calf that it hurts. You say, oh my goodness, I want to keep her. No, that's the one. If you're going to make a statement, put her in the sale. So, to me, these production sales, which that's what you said you want to talk about, those sales are wonderful, but you have to start at least a year, really 2, before you're going to have that sale.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome thinking about that. I mean, that's something we've always kind of thought about doing better at, is actually making a plan for where we're going to market those animals before we even breed them together,
Yes.
Well, that goes back, Jared, on when you're making your breeding selections. I mean, I know we're talking about production sales now, but that goes into, maybe what genetics you use to where you're marketing. But from a production sale, me and Clark Kidd, we start for 2024's production sale the Monday after our production sale. And everybody's like, what? That's when we start looking at what we're going in next year. And we started 2 years ago, what's going to be the pairs, what's going to be your bred heifers. And so I'll agree with Bruce. It's a 2 to 3 year process before you even have your first production sale, especially if you want to have a multifaceted, having some breds and pairs and different things like that. So, I mean, it is a long-term deal, and it's a roadmap with lots of different stops on it when you start talking about how you've got to have everything at 12 o'clock on video day. Because like Clark said, that with technology and where the internet is now, your cattle need to be at 12 o'clock on video day, because that's when you're going to present them to everybody, and that's their first look at your cattle. And then the tricky part is holding them at 12 o'clock on up to sale day, and just what you got to do to make that happen. And so I agree with both of them. It's just it's a long term, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint, and to be successful at it.
I agree, guys. And again, I've always had the philosophy, Bruce has been with me since day one, and I'm fortunate enough to have Mike Green's helped me in every sale I've had. And also Trey Shear will be his first day out with us this year. But what I've always been my philosophy, and I've taught consignment sales all over the country. Bruce and I've done, but you got to sell cattle that you think someone else will want. If they're not good enough for me, they're not good enough for my customer. And that's the philosophy we've always had. If they're not good enough for me, I'm going to carry them to the sale barn. I'm sorry, but we sell the very best we've got every time, and that's the key. If you don't want that cow, why would someone else want it? And that's what we see a lot of times in our industry. And I've been able to give these talks several times. If she's not good enough for you, then why would you want to put her off on your friend or your customer? And that's what we've been able to do for 20 plus sales Bruce and I have had now, I guess. And we can say without any question that people that have bought our cattle have done well with them. I get stories every day where the cattle make a money, and that's what's important to me, that everybody's satisfied with what they get. So that's kind of the ins and out of way I believe in selling, is selling a product that someone else would want, and they'll appreciate and enjoy and make money for them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with all your statements, and I mean it's really true, especially when you see the cattle that are bringing money and the cattle that are not, and and there's different factors that go into that too. But I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying with Colin, and that kind of takes us into our next question. I'm going to ask all three of you kind of two questions in one. When choosing cattle for the sale, what are some of the main things you're looking for? Because you're starting the Monday after the sale, so you're choosing those cattle pretty early, in a lot of people, in a lot of different ways. And what are some Colin standards that you would recommend in choosing
Well,
cattle for a sale?
Bruce and I agree, and Justin agrees. He's been with us long enough now. The first thing is the eye test in a cow. I mean, for me, this is a maternal breed, and to me, it's all about the cows. I mean, that's Bruce and I met 30 years ago, and for some reason, we hit it right off, and we agree. If she isn't pleasing to the eye, then she don't work for us, and that's first. But then we have one of the most stringent culling programs in I guess in the industry. You know, we've sonogrammed or ultrasounded over 5,000 head of Beefmaster cattle. If to meet our requirement, if an animal doesn't have an inch of ribeye per 100, if it doesn't have a minimum of 2 IMF, there's no question we cull them. They get gone because we know that the industry demands these things. We're a servant of the commercial industry, but those are some of the basic things we do. You know, I judge cattle all my life. Justin and Bruce did also. You know, we start at the ground up. You know, the cattle got to be structurally sound first, or there's no need to look at anything else. So, you know, we're very hard. Bruce laughs at me. He calls me the killer of bulls. A bull to make it in our program has got to be pretty special. So we have very stringent criteria, both with the numbers, but visual is first for us. I think Bruce and Justin both agree to that.
Oh, that's absolute. I mean, Clark hit the nail. He hit all the high points there. Is, you know, I preach that out there with people I talk with. And like Clark says, you know, we hit it off because we both had the same theme. If it doesn't look right, if the conformation of that animal does not look right, females, straight back, square hips, long necks, deep bodies, good udders, good teat placement, good teat size, all the things, bulls, nice testicles, good sheath angle, good fluid movement, feet and leg. If they don't pass that visual test, the rest of it I don't care about. I simply do not care. If they pass the visual test, then the next thing is predictable genetics. I want to know what those genetics are. I want to know if there's something there that I know I can build on, that I can reach and touch that female like Clark was talking about. In our breed, this maternal influence is so strong and so deep and so predictable. That's where you want to go next. Then performance, then scan. Those numbers are easy to select. They come out on a piece of paper, they come out on a scan report. You ain't got an inch, you ain't got a 2, you're gone. You ain't got a decent birth weight, weaning weight, yearly weight, you're gone. Those are simple. The visual and the genetics, to me, are the first two places you start when you're selecting and when you're culling. And both work together to make it all easier after that.
That's some great advice right there.
Well, and I will tell everyone, and I feel sure I know everyone on this podcast knows, but Bruce practices what he preaches, because I have asked in the past at sales, and he tells me the exact same thing every single time. And you think that I would quit asking that question one of these days, but I'm probably going to ask you every time I see you from now on.
No worries, baby. I see it every day.
Justin, do you have anything to add, or is that sort of?
No, they pretty much summed it up right there. That's the negative part of going third. We all think alike, so I can just agree with them, and that's the awesomeness. I told Clark coming up here, I was trying not to be redundant, but me, him, and Bruce on all these questions, if you'd ask us privately, right, our answers would all be the same, and I think that's what's awesome about the team that's established here. You know, we all are like-minded and have our priorities ranked the exact same, and that's what it's been very fortunate to work here for as many years as I have, and you know, with like-minded cattlemen, and to create the success we have.
Yeah, and one last thing, Josh, that we're talking about, Bruce and I. You know, you talk to one, you're talking to the other one, but you know, he can tell you that I've never bred a bull that I didn't know his mother, his grandmother, and the history behind it. That's so important to me that this is a maternal breed, and the cows are what it's all about. And it's been very wonderful for us. It's been a wonderful 37-year run for me, but it's all about predictable genetics and great cows behind whatever you're doing. So that would be the most important thing to me.
Yeah. And one quick thing, Josh, real quick.
Yes, sir.
The biggest mistake that I see people making today is they will see this visual, right? They find the animal that looks right. And today's Beefmaster breeder has the advantage of all the years in the past of these predictable genetics that have been lined up and laid out in front of you year after year after year, right? You don't have to buy this animal that looks right, and then you go to the paper and there's nothing there, it's Betty Blue and Bobby Lee. Who the hell are they? Well, you don't have to buy that animal today. There is literally thousands of individuals that pass the eye test and the predictable genetics. So don't make that mistake. Just do that. Keep that, and then make it go fit your performance or scan you want. I don't care.
Well, and there's, a couple things to your points there. I mean, I would love to have at some point people with different opinions, but so we could have more of a, I guess more of a roundtable type discussion like we're having now. But I love coming out there every year and everything flows so well. And it's because you three mesh so well and everybody else is there mesh as well. And I just think it's really cool to see that. And to your point, Bruce, I agree. I mean, and the thing about it is if you come to Clark Sell and you ask any of these three guys here, they will tell you about every name on that paper. If you get somewhere and people like Bruce, like Clark, like Justin, like Mike Green, like some, Trace Share, these guys, and they don't know them, you may want to look at something that they know, because these guys have been around a long time and they know pedigrees.
Yeah, we were laughing today, Josh. It's a funny story. Bruce and I were looking at a heifer, and she was really good. I don't remember even the lot. And at the bottom of the pedigree, I got on there. It was off the paper. And I got back and looking, and 3 generations behind that, Bruce and I knew every cow in that history. And it was hilarious. We had a good laugh this afternoon about that. So
That's giving away our age. See, Hook, come on. Talking about 40 years right there.
That's right.
So Justin was talking about going last. We're going to put him on the spot. He gets to go first this time for the next question. And it's sort of getting put on the spot here. What do you think we do well as a breed whole, as far as quality at sales, production, or consignment? And what could we do better as a breed whole moving forward?
A hard question too. I think
I'm glad you gave him that first.
Yeah, no kidding. I think as a breed, we do a good job at focusing on our maternal attributes and the strong points that the Beefmaster breed offers. And, I think we do good at that. And for the most part, on most production sales, everybody does a good job at presenting their cattle in their particular ranch and stuff like that. Consignment sales, yes, I would like to see a little more uniformity, but that's the hard part of a consignment sale. Their cattle are coming from all over different areas and different management schemes and different programs, and not every program has the plan and the strategic planning that what we do. I think we need to focus as a breed and continue to improve on our carcass quality, pay attention to what the industry is looking for, and watch it, because at the end of the day, you've probably heard Clark say this before, we are servants of the commercial industry. And if we don't produce cattle that a commercial outfit can come out and buy and go home and take it, and for a bull, for instance, put on their cows and make good feeder calves and good replacement heifers and make that man money or woman money, what are we accomplished? I mean, we have to work hard, because that's our job. We try to do better for the consumer, the end product. Inevitably, we want to have good carcass quality where their dining experience is good. And so we have to work harder than anybody to continue to strive to tighten the bar and do better at it. Because like I said, that is our job, is seed stock breeders. Inevitably, we are stewards of the commercial industry and the housewives and everybody's dining experience. So it's a big snowball effect kind of. And if we drop the ball on the front end, it never gains momentum and does what it's supposed to.
I could not agree more with what that man just said. He wrapped the only thing I can think of to add to that is along the same lines of what we were talking about earlier. Predictable genetics do what? They make your product consistent and predictable. Well, that's the same thing he's talking about, from top to bottom, front to back, whichever way. So if everybody works really hard to have predictable producing genetics, in other words, you can predict what they're going to do on paper, looking at them and thinking about them, and get that same product, then that flows down and helps everybody, right? And that's the only reason I preach it so much in our seed stock world. And that also answers your question. It makes Beefmasters better. It makes consignment sales better. It makes production sales better. It's as simple. This is not rocket science. This is taking the time and putting the energy and effort into looking and searching and working to find those genetics and those animals that work.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome to agree with that too, because that eventually, like Justin saying, trickles all the way down to the commercial man, and what makes the commercial man stay in business is predictable genetics. So
yes, sir.
Well, just to kind of wrap it up, we know Clark sales coming in next weekend, so I guess just for the fun of it, what's the one thing or more things y'all or each of y'all are looking forward to next weekend to get the sale fired off?
Oh, what I enjoyed, Jared, I've been blessed in this thing. And I don't know, Mr. Robbins, we marketed something over $13 million worth of these cattle in our time, and we've been very blessed. But what means much to me, and Bruce has said this many times, is people coming and being there with us and getting to reacquainted with my friends of all these years. And it's just so important to me for people to be there. And then the people on the internet, we appreciate them too. We'll have a huge crowd on the internet as always, but getting to shake hands and pat people on the back is what I get out of this, and I enjoy it so much.
Well, and I couldn't agree. I wish y'all could see my little piece of paper. I saw your questions, and I wrote down one thing: seeing the breeders, helping them select. That's what I wrote down. And listen to what Clark just said. I mean, that goes back to the beginning of this statement: right, left, center, whatever. We're like-minded guys, and I truly love that. I enjoy it the most, and especially with Justin and Clark and the way they put together the cattle and get them presented, and it just makes it a lot more fun and so much enjoyable to see people you haven't seen and see new folks. It's seeing the breeders.
I concur with both of them. I enjoy visiting with everybody, but just for the giggles of it, I guess my favorite part of the production sales when Mr. Bowie says, "Good night, Irene." That means we've lived, we've made another one. And just very fortunate for that. It is a lot goes on leading up to this coming week, and it's a year's worth of work all for one day, and so it makes you smile, and it's fun. But that I guess it means you go again for next year, right there.
Well, and I know you've got to be worn slap out after everything going on, and I mean, video day and everything leading up to it, catalog coming out. And then I feel sure you take phone calls up until sale day. And so I feel certain that is a time to take a deep breath and go, okay, now let's reset.
Yeah. If anybody hadn't ever took part in a video day, it's quite a lot to it, more than what you see on the video anyway.
Sure.
But we're pretty much out of time. I wish we had, I feel like we could talk about this for 2 hours and still not have it all talked about. And hopefully we'll have you guys back on here sometime soon. But we really appreciate y'all coming on, taking time out of your evening to do so. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast and listening and getting the word out about it. You guys do great work, and I look forward to seeing all of you, I guess, next week.
We look forward to seeing you too, son.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for it. Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, this is pretty special. I think a lot of folks are going to really enjoy this.
Yeah, I hope so, and I hope they take it. And I think there's been a whole lot of really good information for folks that, especially maybe newer folks that don't know what goes into a production sale. And this is just a fraction of it. I mean, we could get into different stuff all day, every day, and I hope we plan on doing that here moving forward. But again, we appreciate y'all coming on, and we'll see everybody on the next episode. Well, we want to thank everybody for listening to the Beefmaster Banner podcast. Please know that we are on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and we are on YouTube. Just search Beefmaster Banner. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. We love hearing from you, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.